Up next, Authentically Detroit sits down with Armond Harris, owner of Jab's Gym, and Camille Johnson, Director of Development and Communications at the Eastside Community Network, to discuss the building collapse at the Eastern Market and the upcoming Eastside Extravaganza. But first, this week's hot take from Bridge Detroit. UAW automaker standoff prompts worries over Michigan's place in the new economy. Keep it locked. Authentically Detroit starts after these messages.
Hey, it's Stephen Henderson from WDET and Bridge Detroit. If you love listening to Orlando and Donna's incisive interviews and conversations on the Authentically Detroit podcast, I hope you'll also listen to the podcast I host, Detroit Today, from WDET on Detroit's NPR station. Detroit Today is a daily podcast where I talk with community leaders, elected officials, and residents of Detroit, the region, and the state about politics and the values that animate our communities. Listen to Detroit Today every day on your favorite podcast app.
Hey, y'all, it's Orlando. We just want to let you know that the views and opinions expressed during this podcast episode are those of the co-hosts and guests and not their sponsoring institutions. Now, let's start the show. Hello, Detroit and the world. Welcome to another episode of Authentically Detroit, broadcasting live from the Cast Corridor at the WDET studios. We are content partner to BridgeDetroit.com. I'm Orlando Bailey.
And I'm Donna Givens-Davidson.
Thank you for listening in and supporting our efforts to build a platform of authentic voices for real people in the city of Detroit. We want you to like, rate, and subscribe to our podcast on all platforms. Donna and I will be joined today by Armond Harris. He's the owner of Jab's Gym in Eastern Market, and Camille Johnson. She's the Director of Development and Communications at Eastside Community Network. But first, Donna, how is this blessed and sunny, partly sunny Monday finding you?
It's fine.
Yeah.
You know, it's my last day in my 50s.
Hey!
So tomorrow's my birthday, and it's good. I'm excited about it, but very, very reflective.
It's something to celebrate.
It is. I just never imagined celebrating this day without my mother here, without my sister Linda here. And so I feel their absence almost physically today. And I mean, I'll be okay. You know, I just have to also remember, because this is not something that's always good for me, to feel my feelings when I'm feeling them and not suppress them.
Yes.
Which is something.
Anything that is trying to get out of your body is better out than in, Donna Givens-Davidson.
Exactly.
So you got to let it out your body.
I know, but the genie's out and I start crying now, and I'm
It's
not used
okay.
to that. A player doesn't cry like that, okay? I'm not a crier.
She said a player
I'm just
doesn't
joking.
cry like that.
Not that I'm a player, but you know what I mean? I just don't cry. I'm not used to feeling my emotions, so being so conscious of them. And, but, you know, it's good. I'm reflecting on a number of things, and it's weird because I think about 60 and it's a whole lot better. A sea
50.
change better than 50. So
I love
the circumstances of my life, how I feel about things, where I am and where I see myself going is in a completely different place than it was 10 years ago.
I love that for you.
So I'm happy with that. I just wish I had my mom.
Yeah.
And my
you know,
sister.
it's so interesting. And I think it's normal to carry like this one thing in your hand that grieves you, that makes you sad, and also this excitement, exuberance, and joy that you have. And I think we don't know what the other one is without feeling each of them, right? And so I think that's perfectly okay.
Yeah, you can't have joy without pain, and you can't have pain without joy. You know, they're like you said, they're part of the same thing, and you recognize one because the other exists. Also, this month on Friday, it was my aunt Amalia's 90th birthday.
Yeah.
And so I went to visit her. She and my uncle were at my cousin's house.
Beautiful tribute post, by the way.
You know, I've never said anything like that to her, and I hope that she can receive it now. But when I left my first marriage, she was there for me in ways that I don't think I ever stopped to articulate to myself. You know how you sort of like, you're my aunt, you're going to be there for me. But now I'm thinking of that and of my uncle. And so it's really hitting me in a whole new way. Sunday was
so 60 gonna bring the tears. Bring the tears. Bring the reflection.
Sunday was my grandmother's birthday, my mother's mother.
Wow.
And so it was always Amalia, Mother Cheever, and then me, right? And we're each 2 days apart. And then if you really want to spread it out, my brother-in-law Carl's birthday was on the 12th. And so we are 7 days apart.
Stafford was a September baby.
Yeah, so September 12th, now September 2nd, September 12th, September 15th, September 17th, and September 19th. And I'm like at the end of this, beautiful reign of September birthday. So I'm happy and excited about that. And I'm just going to try to claim the victory, but also be aware of the sadness. How are you doing? I'm
doing okay. I had a case of the Mondays today. I think the weekend was very short. I ended up having the privilege to come back home to ECN to be on a panel talking to young professionals about social entrepreneurship and the trajectory of my career. And it was really interesting to sort of chart that out loud, right? Mm-hmm. And articulate that to folks, because it really is, a great story and a great arc to it. So I had the opportunity to do that. I also visited over with Katrina Watkins at the Bailey Park Project. I told them that I would come out. They had an event called Horsing Around, and they brought Black people with horses to Black kids in the hood in McDougal Hunt. And so I pull up, and there's horses everywhere, and these Black kids and these Black people who are controlling the horses, taking the kids around the horses on the east side. I'm like, I ain't never seen anything like this.
Do you know what organization she was with?
So I can't remember the name of the organization. It was not Horsepower, because I know we know that one. But our friend Hakeem Witherspoon was a part of that, a part of this organization that brought it to the kids on the east side. So I was able to do that and keep my word there. And I had the opportunity in the evening, I had to change clothes to go and celebrate the 1-year anniversary of Umoja Village, headed up by a young phenom by the name of Jerron Howard, who I think we absolutely have to get on this show.
I know I need to meet Jerron.
You got to meet him.
I've talked to him on the phone and loved to when I talked to him about something that we'll probably be talking about next year.
Yeah.
But we have not met and really spent time talking to each other. So how was that?
It was amazing. I mean, so he and his organization purchased these lots from the land bank, and it was blighted and it was abandoned, and they turned it into something beautiful. There's a debate stage. There's a community garden that the young people grow food on. And so we had an all-white dinner.
It was beautiful. The pictures were beautiful.
Oh my gosh. And then the salad was fresh from the garden. And so we ate from the land.
Oh, wow.
And it was just a beautiful sight. And I would say this, for Jerwan to have the consciousness that he had at 23 and 24 years old, we gonna be all right. We talk a lot about the next generation and how they're showing up, but when I look at folks like Jerwan and some of the young folks that were there on Saturday at ECN, I'm like, oh, we gonna be good.
But the thing that Jerwan makes me think of, because he's a leader, he's a shining star.
Yeah,
I knew that from one telephone conversation. I also had the sense in talking to him that when he came home filled with enthusiasm, there were a lot of people ready to put a damper on his enthusiasm.
You better talk.
And we've got to stop doing that. So one thing I'm conscious of right now is making sure that I pour as much of myself as I can into a next generation that's going to be the one to really take it from here.
And you're so good at that, though, Donna. But I want to tell you, I know that you are saying that you're going to be more intentional, but I'm going to tell you right now, you are already really, really good at that. And I want to give you your flowers, because even under your tutelage at ECN, how you allowed me to lead, right? And the freedom that you gave me, right, to mess up and to make a decision and apologize later, and then we wrap around. That kind of experience is invaluable, especially coming from the generation that felt like we needed y'all's permission and we wanted y'all's blessing, right? We really wanted that, us millennials, especially the middle and elder millennials. What Jerwan is doing is moving past that subjugation, if you will, and saying, I don't need y'all permission.
Exactly.
I'm going to do it. And I love that.
But I love it too. And I think do it.
Yeah.
And then those of us who are in a position to help can say, let me help you do it, right? Not because you can can't get there without me, but because you can get there faster with all of us behind you.
Yeah.
And I think that the divisiveness and the pettiness and the insecurity and turf policing that we have going on in our community really does inhibit all of us, because we need the voices and we need the ideas and all of that from young people. When I was young, I was gatekept. There were people, because even though, when I was his age, I was very involved in the community, working at a nonprofit. And I remember going places and having women who were older just try to shut me down. People who were older just trying to shut me down. Who are you to know this? And, I look back at some of the things I thought and said when I was like 22, 23 years old, and I cringe.
But it's
I'm
okay.
like, oh
It's
my
part of the
goodness, how did
process.
anybody tolerate me? Because I thought I knew more than I did. That's what a young person does. You come out of college, you come out of whatever experiences you are, and you think you know everything. And rather than trying to convince people that they don't, we can just help direct them. And I was really blessed to have leaders that helped direct me, including.
Me too.
So I always want to make sure I play it forward. But I think Detroit is at a pivotal, look at me making up words, pivotal place where we can,
kicking your butt today.
Yes, I know. Where we can really say that we've got to do something different, because we can't go back to what's there. And I think what we talk about today is really going to be talking about going full circle and understanding the need for real change.
Yeah, let's talk about it. So the UAW automaker standoff prompts worries over Michigan's place in the new economy. This is by my colleague Paula Gardner at Bridge, Michigan. Michigan business leaders watch with a sense of urgency Thursday as the deadline between the United Auto Workers and the big three legacy auto companies approached. But their concern about a potential strike went far beyond immediate effects of a walkout. The future of Michigan's signature industry in the state after the current round of negotiations loomed as their top issue. Any outcome on the contract leaves uncertainties for automakers who face significant global competition for customers at a time when the platform's shift to electric vehicles is both expensive and so far unprofitable, they said. The goal here is to have a sustainable agreement for the workers to keep their jobs in the future and the automakers keep making vehicles. Patrick Anderson, CEO of Anderson Economic Group in East Lansing, he told Bridge, Michigan. UAW wage demands are almost certainly likely to be incorporated in a plausible settlement, Anderson said. However, UAW requests for benefits like 40 hours of pay for 32-hour work week, pension restoration, and keeping workers on payroll after a plant closure to do community volunteer work all raise concerns about how competitive an automaker can be after absorbing those additional costs. My biggest worry isn't that we have a strike, it's that we have an unsustainable settlement, Anderson said. The UAW, representing about 150,000 workers across the U.S., started with contract demands that included a 40% wage increase over the next 4 years, 46% when compounded, cost of living increases, 32-hour work week with 40-hour pay, set cap on the number of temporary workers and convert them to full-time seniority employment after 90 days, more paid time off and additional holidays, job security through what is called the Working Family Protection Program, which includes the right to strike over plant closures, and significantly increased retiree pay. So the top pay for an assembly plant worker has been $32 an hour, with the union seeking a raise to $47 an hour. Newer hires start at under $20 an hour and can spend 8 years climbing to the top tier of the pay and benefits. And temporary workers used to fill open shifts start at under $17 per hour, or about $35,000 per year. Anderson, who led a report estimating that a 10-day strike could cost the U.S. over $5 billion, said Michigan will benefit from both automaker profitability and the companies paying workers well. We got a lot to say about this, but first, Donna, what say you?
Unsustainable. $30 million salaries are unsustainable. And the United States automakers are the only automakers in the entire world whose wage differential between worker and CEO is that great. I'm trying to remember the name of a recent documentary I watched on Apple TV, where the former, oh my goodness, I don't remember I think he was Toyota but I don't remember the name of the car company. I'll be honest with you. I'm embarrassed by this because I just had this thought. But anyway, the former maker of this car company, CEO of this car company, was working for a car company in both France and Japan. And he was bringing down a salary like that. And he was eventually arrested and had to escape Japan because of greed and because of the perception that he was actually fleecing the company. So if I want to tell somebody it's unsustainable, then I have to walk the walk. Now, Mary Barra was quoted as saying that the reason that her salary was so high, most of it is not in bit salary. Most of it is in performance bonus, right? And so the question is, what is performance? Is performance vehicle quality? No. Is performance vehicle sales? No. Is performance, mileage per gallon? Is it, sustainability or anything like electrification? Absolutely not. What performance is in today's financialized world is paying dividends to shareholders. And then she gets a portion of that. And some of it is redistributed to workers as well. So the question is, in the financialized world that we're in, what does that mean? What it means is the easiest way to increase the value of your stock is to buy back stock and create scarcity in the market to purchase your stocks. When you buy back your stock, then other people have to spend more money on it and the value increases, and then you can take those dividends and spread them. Here's the problem. How many companies have bought back stock at the expense of research and development, increases in safety, worker pay, environmental protections, and all of the things that automakers are saying they cannot afford? We have got to stop the cannibalistic behavior of these corporations where they eat their own stock for the purpose of increasing its value, and understanding that this is what the shareholders want. I understand a shareholder wants to get paid, and that makes sense. But the reality is that all of this is being done at the expense of the environment and the workers. Now, a lot of us in the community are very concerned about the environmental health inside of plants or around plants. And the only thing I have to say is, if we don't like breathing the air that's coming out of these plants, what about the people who are in these plants and breathing that same air? We have to be as concerned about protecting them from the greedy, avaricious behavior of these gluttonous corporations that are willing to sacrifice everything for the almighty dollar. Yeah. And it's not just in this industry. You see that the CEO of Blue Cross Blue Shield is
on strike.
They're on strike. He's making $15 million. An insurance company where people cannot afford to purchase insurance knows that this person is getting paid $15 million. It's not more than symbolic, because we understand that these companies are allowing themselves to benefit a very, very small minority of the people at the expense of everyone else. So if they're concerned about sustainability, I suggest they go back to the drawing board and figure out what that means. But it's also up to our government to regulate corporate behavior and financial systems in such a way that some of these things are no longer allowable. Stop letting corporations buy back their own stock.
Yeah. Well, I should also note that two Biden aides are here to, I guess, assist in the negotiations with the UAW, and the big three. My summation of this is pretty simple, Donna Givens-Davidson, and that is pay them people.
But,
pay them people they money. And for me, it's really simple. And I think it's this simple for a lot of the folks who are a part of the UAW. Y'all playing in their faces, right? You have a CEO who makes 200 times more than the average worker on the line. And those folks are working night and day to get cars off of the line and into the lots and into the hands of the consumers. Pay them people. And I would say this too, because I saw this. Shame on people who feel like these people shouldn't make what they're asking for. Shame on y'all. Y'all, you know what you sound like? You sound like a bunch of haters. And it's not a good look. So my estimation, my guess is that the big three will concede to some of these. I don't think that they'll get the 40-hour pay for a 32-hour work week. I don't think that they'll get the 4-day work week, but I do think that things like the pension and the salary increase has to be and will be strongly considered, because I don't think Sean Fain and the UAW is letting up on that. The final thing that I'll say is it should be illegal to have temp workers working every single day in these plants without ever being hired in and being offered a fair wage and an opportunity to be a part of a union. My sister was working for Chrysler or Stellantis for over a year as a temp, never being hired in, and they when they got ready to terminate her, they could without cause and without a union to fight for her. That should be illegal.
It should be. But the thing is, these decisions all stem from structures. If I'm trying to maximize the shareholder profit or payout, I've got to minimize my expenses, which means I'm going to pay people as little as possible. I'm going to invest in the kinds of things that make my company more sustainable as little as possible for the short-term benefit of being able to please the people who can decide whether I stay or go, and for the short-term benefit of being able to enrich myself. We should not have those types of perverse benefits. Until we change those structures and until we regulate those structures, we're going to have the problem. We had the exact same issue with railroad strikers, and this time in the UAW, the president did not dare say, I'm not going to support this strike. But when it was the railroad workers, he did not support the railroad strikers. Our whole society is geared to believe that unions are the problem with our economy.
Ridiculous.
But it's shifting.
It should be, because what happened to the sentiment of the essential worker, right? When we were calling the labor market essential workers, and we had such high regard and respect for them during the pandemic, what happened to that sentiment? And right now, I think we are experiencing a reckoning with a labor force that is tired of these corporations, I'm going to say it again for lack of a better phrase and for simplicity, playing in their faces.
Exactly, because we have a whole world where people started reading Armond and Atlas Shrugged and started believing that the wealthiest people in the world were the makers and the people who worked for them were the takers. And it's the exact opposite, right? You can't make a car without workers. You literally can't. Okay, I don't necessarily need a CEO to build a car, but you can't build a car without hands. You can't build a car without somebody putting their body on the line really to make that happen. I don't care about automation. So I just want to say that, and I just want to clarify real quickly. I know we have to take a break. Mm-hmm. The person I was talking about is Carlos Ghosn, and he was the CEO of Renault, Nissan, and the Mitsubishi Alliance.
Mitsubishi.
And so he escaped from jail, really, and he was able to now live, in Lebanon, where he's from, because he had adopted or incorporated this, I think, U.S. mentality around greed. The rest of the world would not allow what the U.S. does. And so if we want to be competitive with the rest of the world, maybe we should look at the rest of the world and try to do what they do.
If you have stories that you want talked about on Authentically Detroit, you can email us at authenticallydetroit@gmail.com or hit us up on our socials, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter at Authentically Detroit. We're going to be right back with Camille Johnson and Armond Harris. Keep it locked.
Founded in 2021, the Stoudemire is a membership-based community recreation and wellness center centrally located on the east side of Detroit. Membership in the Stoudemire is available on a sliding scale for up to $20 per year or 20 hours of volunteer time. The Stoudemire offers art, dance, and fitness classes, community meetings and events, resource fairs, pop-up events, the Neighborhood Tech Hub, and more. Members who are residents of the east side have access to exclusive services in the Wellness Network. Join today and live well, play well, be well. Visit ecndetroit.org.
Bridge Detroit is your news and engagement platform that is telling the stories of Detroiters rooted by community priorities. Started in 2020 by Pulitzer Prize-winning journalist Stephen Henderson, the newsroom has already established its footing as the go-to source for hyper-local perspectives that ask the hard questions, brings accountability, and searches out real solutions. It's free to become a member of this award-winning news organization. Visit bridgedetroit.com today to sign up to receive the news delivered right to your inbox. Bridge Detroit, by Detroiters, for Detroiters.
All right, welcome back to Authentically Detroit, everyone. We're here with Camille Johnson, Director of Development and Communications at the Eastside Community Network, to discuss the Eastside Extravaganza. That's right, the best party on the Eastside is back. ECN will host the 35th Annual Eastside Extravaganza on Friday, September 22nd, 2023, at the headquarters, the Stoudemire, located at 4401 Connor Street from 6 p.m. to 10 p.m. Yeah, 10 p.m.'s the goal, but we be partying too late. This year's event will be 70s glam themed, hosted by Emmy Award-winning journalist Orlando. That's me! Emmy Award-winning journalist. That word is kicking my butt. Emmy Award-winning journalist Orlando Bailey. The event will include a cocktail reception, silent auction, and a multi-course meal and live entertainment. We got Larry Lee in the Back in the Day band, the baddest band in the city. Camille, welcome back to Authentically Detroit. It's been a while.
Thank you. I'm happy to be back.
Oh, well, so give us a quick update on your life, because a lot has happened since you were last on Authentically Detroit. Hey, mama.
Hey, yes, I had a baby. So you a mom, in the words of Kiki Palmer's boyfriend.
You a mom.
You a mom. That's what I've been up to. Momming.
Oh, gosh. And he dropped off the face of this freaking planet, as he should.
No, they're back
Johnson.
together. You haven't seen that?
No, I ain't seen
They're
it.
back together.
Is he back
again.
on social media?
I don't know, but they're
No,
together.
that's what I mean. He back. He ain't going
no,
back.
he's still on social media. He was tweeting through it. He just kept tweeting about the Eagles. How about them Eagles?
Oh, man. How about those Eagles? Well, Camille, I want to say, how about this Eastside Extravaganza that is getting ready to happen this Friday at Eastside Community Network? So tell us, number one, okay, so this is the best party on the Eastside. It's the 35th annual extravaganza. The organization is almost 40, right? And so 35 years, that's a long time. Talk a little bit about why this year is so significant. 35 years.
Well, I think the number, I think that it's kind of, mind-boggling to think that the Eastside Extravaganza has been around and happening and popping on the Eastside for 35 years. That's 2 years longer than I've been alive. I think that this year it's going to be bigger and better than ever. It's going to be our third year doing it at ECN's headquarters on the East Side, deeply in the community where we're doing our work. And we're really excited about that because we want to show people that great things can happen on the East Side, beautiful things can happen on the East Side, and really make this a place and space for our residents to come and enjoy themselves, and for people that are invested in our community and in ECN success and that have worked with us throughout the past 39, almost 40 years to really come here and celebrate and uplift our community.
We getting ready to turn up on Connor.
We are. And what makes me so excited is when I start getting these phone calls and texts. And Orlando, you've gotten a couple of them where people be like, hey, how you doing, girl? What's up? Do you have any tickets? I feel like it's an honor to have people try to slide in
Camille,
the ticket
I'm
request.
telling you right now, keep Donna away from the calls. Keep her away from the phone, because let me tell you, I remember one year she came in my office the day of saying, hey, and I gave her a look.
I gave away a whole table. I have such a hard time with you know this about me. I was like, I just want everybody to be there.
Because it's not that you're giving away
the day of.
And it's not even that. The thing that is the most arduous task, Camille, with the extravaganza, of course, is what? The seating chart.
The seating chart. It's arduous. It's delicate. It's like I could never be a wedding planner. Because my God,
Yes.
trying to figure out the right mix. And I think part of it too is because you have so many different people from so many different places and spaces, and you want to make sure that you're striking the right balance, that you're making sure that people are having fun at this best party on the East Side and connecting with new people and learning more about our work and our community. And so it's a difficult task, but it's cool. And you see it come together and you see everyone enjoying themselves and maybe even talking through the speeches, because at least we know they're having fun. Right.
Camille, talk a little bit about this year's theme. So it's 70s glam theme. And I still, to this
one
day,
East
I
Side
don't know.
Under a Groove.
One East Side Under a Groove. I don't know what I'm wearing, but talk about how y'all came
the
up to
reason he
that.
does not know what he's wearing.
Well, I'm going to be wearing silver. So, or metallic. I don't know. Will it be 70s themes? Kind of. We'll see.
So you about to give us some Renaissance vibes, some Beyonce Renaissance
Something
vibes.
like that.
And I'm going to be
I don't know,
gold.
because I want something I can wear again.
Yes, I'll be gold. It looks like, gold lame is the fabric of the season, so I'll just be fitting in with everybody else. I keep looking up in everybody's pictures. I think, it's kind of fun. The real reason it's 70s theme is the music, because is there any better music than in the 70s? I know you all are going to disagree with me, but the 70s has some of the best music. And I just listened to a new album by October London, and he must agree, because he has a whole album entitled The Rebirth of Marvin Gaye. And I was listening to that on the way here, thinking it's too bad that we're not going to listen to your music. We're going to listen to some real Marvin Gaye. Anyway, I'm excited.
Yeah.
We have great auction items this year, too. Really, really amazing auction items. I think, what do we have, like 35 gifts?
We have about 35 gifts right now, ranging from jewelry and clothing to dining experiences at the Grand Hotel and places like the Greenfield Village Museum. There's like a 1-month hair package where you can get your hair done every week for 4 weeks in any service you want. So maybe I'll get that and be blonde and have a pixie cut by the end of November.
That would be very cute.
We're going to have tons of auction items. I'm also really excited about the folks that will be awarding this year.
So talk about the awardees, Camille.
Yeah. It really is about the awardees that we have each year and really making sure that, again, we're highlighting folks that are doing amazing work in our community. So as with every year, we will have our ECN awardees. These are different leaders in the community or stakeholders on the East Side that are making positive, sustainable change. We have our Malo Stoudemire Eastside Legend Award, which will go to Martha Reeves. We're really excited about that.
And Valencia is presenting that award to Martha. That's amazing. Shout out to Valencia Stoudemire.
Really exciting.
Yeah. We'll be dancing in the street.
Oh, maybe we can get her to get on the microphone.
No, we don't. We don't want to ask her to do work while she's there.
I know, but she likes a party.
She does like to party, but we don't. If she wants to,
if she gets there,
maybe we'll have the band play that she can get up there. But I don't. If she wants to,
if she wants,
we're definitely going to have to play it though, right?
For sure.
So we're going to have to let Larry, Lee, and all start. We got to play her song, right?
We cut you off, Camille. Who else you got? Who else you're honoring?
Yeah. We also have Catherine Kelly, who's receiving our Maggie DeSantis Truths of Power Award. We're super excited to honor the Kresge Foundation this year as our corporate champion. We've been doing work with them for years. They've really been intentional about pioneering and highlighting a lot of their work on the East Side of Detroit, and so especially their climate work. So we're really excited about that. Mark Covington from Georgia Street Community Collective will be our Eastside Innovator. And I mean, he's such amazing work for urban farming, for food sustainability, off of Gratiot, in a place where not many people are. So we're really happy to be able to lift his work up. Edith Ford, our resident Eastside Queen, will be our Outstanding Partner Awardee this year. We're going to have 3 Willie Mae Gaskin Volunteerism Awardees because we couldn't choose just one. Our residents really are the backbone of our work in the community. And so we're excited to honor Linderick Bridges, Kyrie Johnson, and Shirley Jones this year. And then we have 2 Eastside Youth Awardees, Talia Henson and Faith Smith. And so we're super excited about the crop of ECN awardees we have this year. And then, of course, we have community voted and selected Mo Better Awards. And this year, I mean, people showed up and showed out with these votes because people won by landslides. We're going to have Good Vibes Lounge, Detroit Soul.
Oh, wow. Portia.
Yes. Showed up and showed out for Good Vibes Lounge. The same with Chandler Park, Strength and Unity Neighborhood Organization, and Sharita Pierce, and then Yellow Brook Road Alleyway and Victoria Thomas. And so we're really excited to have a crop of almost completely new Mo Better awardees this year. It's so exciting to see who people nominate each year because you get to find out about so many different businesses and groups and places that are doing really cool things on the East Side. And then they are able to bring people out to ECN. Sometimes we haven't connected with them before. And so we're creating new relationships, finding new potential partners. And so I'm really excited with the awardees that we're going to be honoring this year.
Yeah, I am too. You know, the thing I love about the Eastside Extravaganza, it's a place where we live out our values. Yeah. We live out the value of saying everybody matters on the East Side of Detroit. And literally at the Eastside Extravaganza, it doesn't matter what walk of life you come from. You all matter.
Everybody.
And we bring people together with each other to just, connect. So I get excited every year. There's nothing, they say that it's sometimes more exciting to give than to receive. And so Orlando and I will be receiving our first Authentically Detroit award.
Oh, yeah. We haven't told the listeners this.
Yes, we're going to be receiving our first, Authentically Detroit award on Wednesday from Detroit Catholic
Community Game Changer Award.
I know, it's so crazy, right?
Yeah.
It's so crazy. It's such an honor. But as excited as I am to receive that, there's something about giving an award and recognizing people and letting you know that you love and appreciate and that you see them that feels good every single year. Each time we choose people, it's coming from a place of love, right? So we come from our hearts and we say, these are some people who have made our work different, because what is our one of our taglines, we have a few, is we're stronger together. And this idea that the Eastside Detroit is a stronger place because of the work of everybody, not just us. We've been here for almost 40 years, but there's so many people who've come along the way. There's nobody who's more exciting than Victoria Thomas with the Yellow Brick Road. And the reason is she is in our first class of our first fellowship class. And that project stalled for a while and it started growing legs. She's got an alleyway award. She's working with the city on some different investments. I can't talk about them yet. But her idea was so profound around honoring the history of people in the Jeff Chalmers community while also protecting children by moving them from the streets into the alleyway. So before the city came with an alleyway project, she was already looking at activating that space.
I love that.
So I just love, if you can, if you don't have tickets, we're going to put this up tomorrow so people can listen in halftime. If you don't have tickets or you haven't purchased a table, there's still a little bit of time to make a decision. Camille, what's the food and the drink stuff going to be like? Are we going to have drinks?
No, this is a dry event. So the event will have a full cash bar with all of everyone's favorite drinks, as well as a few themed cocktails that we're really excited to present to you guys. And then we're going to have some delicious food that's been catered. We're going to have a carving station. We're going to have all the desserts that you could think of. And so we're really excited to really pull together this amazing event. The decor has already been, slated to look amazing. It's going to feel like you're walking into like a 70s party, like Studio 54 or something. And so we're really excited. And you can still get tickets. You can still sponsor the events. If you want to know more about that, you can definitely contact me at cjohnson@ecn-detroit.org. You can also find more information on ECN's website at ecn-detroit.org/extravaganza. I feel like we always get so many people coming in on the week of, it'll be August and we're like, okay. And then the week of, it's like 100 people, 200 people, 300
That's
people.
how it goes.
So there's more than enough room. We want to celebrate with you, and we'd love to see you there and for you to share with other people.
And there's
last year we had a lot of new folks. And so that was really cool to see too.
We're going to have a costume contest or a best dress contest, best 70s contest. So I know, Orlando, you're going to have to really work this because I know how you compete. But we're going to open it up to the community.
Trust me.
I am just joking. No, but we want to really get people. We really want to honor people for how they look and how they show up. And also, it's going to be a moment for me to celebrate 60 years on this earth with the job that I plan on retiring from, a place that I love, with people that I love, and a community that I love. And so it's a very special day for me personally, and also for our organization professionally,
and for the Eastside,
as we prepare to celebrate our 40th year next year.
Ooh, 40 for 40. Listen, so you can go to ecn-detroit.org/extravaganza to pick up your tickets now. General admission is $150, and don't wait to the last minute because that price is going to go up to $175, and that's going to be available to purchase the day of the event. But don't wait. Call 313-571-2800 or go on the website or email Camille at cjohnson@ecn-detroit.org. Did I get it right? Did I get everything right, Camille?
Yep, you sure did.
All right. Camille, thank you so much for joining us. See you Friday at the extravaganza. It's going to be lit.
Yes, thank you for having me. Looking forward to partying with you guys.
All right, you're listening to Authentically Detroit, and we will be right back.
Have you always dreamed of being on the airwaves? Well, the Detroit Eastside Engaged Podcast Network, or DEEP for short, is here to make that dream a reality. Located inside the Stoudemire, the DEEP Network offers studio space and production staff to help get your podcast idea off the ground. Doesn't take a whole lot of work to get started. Just visit the Authentically Detroit page at ecn-detroit.org or call Sarah at 313-948-0344.
Founded in 2021, the Stoudemire is a membership-based community recreation and wellness center centrally located on the east side of Detroit. Membership in the Stoudemire is available on a sliding scale for up to $20 per year or 20 hours of volunteer time. The Stoudemire offers art, dance, and fitness classes, community meetings and events, resource fairs, pop-up events, the Neighborhood Tech Hub, and more. Members who are residents of the East Side have access to exclusive services in the Wellness Network. Join today and live well, play well, be well. Visit ecndetroit.org.
Welcome back to Authentically Detroit, and we are here with Armond Harris, owner of Jab's Gym, and his consultant, Damon Williams, is here with us to discuss the building collapse in the Eastern Market. An emergency demolition order has been issued for a 126-year-old building in Detroit's Eastern Market District after a wall partially collapsed on Saturday. One tenant told Bridge Detroit Sunday that they raised concerns to the landlord months ago that brick was separating in the building, but claims nothing was done. But the landlord, Scott Turnbull, said he wasn't aware of any issues with the building prior to Saturday or any complaints raised by the tenants. It's pretty much all in the city's hands at this point, Turnbull said. I can't even access the building to even look and see. The 4-story building housed a number of businesses, included Beyond Juicery, Jab's Gym, Brooklyn Outdoor, and the famed Detroit versus Everybody. An emergency demolition order was issued Saturday, according to a copy of the order obtained by Bridge Detroit, declaring that the building had been inspected and is in immediate danger of collapse. Due to the dangerous state of the structure, an emergency demolition order is necessary for this building, said Georgette Johnson, spokesperson for BC. A determination has not yet been made to the cause of the collapse. The investigation is ongoing. Armond Harris, owner of Jab's Gym, which opened at Eastern Market in 2015, said he first brought up issues with the building to Turnbull 4 months ago, but Harris contends Turnbull wasn't doing anything about the damage, prompting Harris to bring it up again Saturday morning before the collapse. Armond, how you doing, first of all?
We holding on, Orlando. We holding on by the grace of God. So
Yeah. So take us back to Saturday. So it's a market day. Everybody is in Eastern Market, and you're in your place of business. And what happens?
Absolutely. So it was a normal Saturday. Saturday's a pretty exciting time. We're there. It's a pretty busy time for us. And this particular Saturday, I was there later than I would have been for a special event, which is called Barbie Boxing, which was a play off of the Barbie. Some girls had rented it out, some popular makeup artists in the city. And so I stayed after to teach that class. And so I normally wouldn't have been there, but I happened to be in the place when everyone ironically starts running. And if you've ever been in Jab's Gym, Orlando, we have these dark blackout shades where it gets completely black inside, and in an instant, we saw all the light from outside.
Oh, wow.
That's when the windows were ripped out of their particular space. So
yeah, I've been there a couple times.
Okay.
So
Donna said you worked her out, man.
Oh, man.
That was
Thank
good.
you so much for coming and supporting us.
Between you and Sydney, that was good,
thank you so much for coming,
guys do your thing. But, I've been in there. So you're saying in the main gym, when people are kickboxing in that gym, those windows on that side are the ones that came out.
100%, yeah. So you could still, the building's still there now if you want to go take a peek, or the building that they have. But that side, I think it's the south wing, southeast wing of the wall essentially ripped off, and it took our windows with it. So.
When you're going, I get disoriented, so I never know which side I'm in, and with the windows gone,
on that
you don't
side,
know where
that's
you
facing
are.
that's facing the south side.
Yes,
right.
Yeah. So I've seen the pictures. I remember immediately when I saw that, I thought about your gym, and wondered if it was, but I didn't remember what floor it was on. So the windows come down. There's people inside.
Yeah, what's going through your mind?
Yeah. So initially when the windows got yanked out, I'm just like, what's going on? I thought it got bright because of the shade falling. It took me a second to understand that the whole wall was coming down, because we were playing music, not necessarily that loud.
Yeah.
We were playing music, so there was other noise. Like it was a lively gym atmosphere. So people who were close to it realized what were happening because they were over by the windows. I was closer to the mirrors on the other side of the gym. So when I saw it, I started walking towards it when one of the girls grabbed me. There was a young girl there. She was screaming frantically. I know she's terrified. And then I heard Montrell, one of our trainers, saying, "Everyone, get out of here. Everyone get out of here." He's like screaming at the top of us, "Get out of here." And so I go down the staircase, which is our emergency staircase, which is Detroit versus everybody's, which puts you like out on Russell because that's the closest one. But most people don't realize is people ran back through the gym to get
to the normal exit,
normal exit and entrance where the elevators are.
Exactly, which is right where
it's closer to the wall, right. Where if thank God it didn't happen, but if the ceiling had collapsed or if the floor had gave in, it would have been a lot more dangerous to try to escape that way versus stepping into the hallway or the elevator or the stair shaft where I stepped into.
So I have a lot of questions, but before I get to those questions, when you say girls, what age group are you talking about?
I'm just saying. I said there was one young girl there who was the daughter of someone, and she must have been about 11.
Okay.
But majority of the women and guys that were there were probably, I'll say, median age, maybe about 36, 37.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there was only one child. I was just
only
wondering
one child.
about children in the building.
Yes. And I said girls because a lot of ladies were there for the Barbie boxing
girls.
class.
I understand.
But they were grown women, 25 to 35 to 45.
No, I understand. So, I want to know if they were minors.
Yeah.
Okay. So in your article, in this article in Bridge Detroit, you're quoted as saying that you have talked to the landlord about it in the past.
Yeah, I mentioned him. I'm like, hey, Scott, I'm not really sure what's happening with the, not really sure if it's a big deal or what's happening with this.Maybe we should check it out. And then ironically, I texted him
Saturday morning.
You texted him?
Yeah, I texted him about 8:30. It was 8:16 a.m. And I was like, Scott, we got
that's a really exact time.
Yeah,
so we know.
Well, you probably look back at the text like, wait a minute, this is 8:16.
I'm like, I was just talking about this, and then I go outside and these cars are ruined, and there's someone laying on the ground, and everyone's in it. So God was so gracious with us because there were people who ran late, who if they would have been on time, they would have been in the debris
because they're right next to it. Some
100%.
Some of the folks work right next to it.
One of the cars that was destroyed was Peter Dollar, who is a member at Jabs, just finished training with me, went downstairs, grabbed something out of his car, and walked over to the bench, which was probably about 20 feet away from where maybe 15 feet away, and was sitting on the bench and just saw it all fall. And if he wouldn't have grabbed that out of his car, and if he would have just sat in his car maybe and sounded and text message for a while, his car was pummeled. It was totaled by all of the bricks and half of the building that fell down on his truck. So
are you convinced that it must be torn down? Have you seen any inspection reports that sort of validate that?
No, we just saw the recommendation from the city of Detroit, and part of it is I don't know if I even want to go back in, right? So the thought process is, one thing is about feeling safe, right?
Right.
And I don't know if I want to go back up to that floor after we thought it was safe. We've been there for 8 years. It's our home, and all of a sudden it partially collapsed. You know what I mean? So
I do.
It's very sad. This has been a big piece of my adult life, and we're just hoping to pick up the pieces and maybe start fresh somewhere new.
So what does picking up the pieces look like, right? Because I know this is very immediate, and it's probably a question you don't have the answer to, but early on, right now, what does picking up the pieces look like?
Well, I think that initially, the thought process is, we got to start the whole process with the fight with insurance, which is it's always a fight. It's a crazy thing. So we immediately, just recently before we came here, decided to post a GoFundMe to immediately start to get the ball turning on when we can, get back to normally. This is a home to a lot of people, right? Not only a home where people worked, but also a home where people worked out. And it was a part of their daily activity. So what I realized, and I came to the realization this morning after talking to my insurance company a few times, that there's no guarantee they're going to pay out or when they're going to pay out. And so either way, I think it's best to start working, to start putting the pieces back together and trying to get back started again.
So do you have any ideas or thoughts about where you might go?
Yeah, we're definitely going to stay in the Eastern Market. I'm one of the board of directors for the Eastern Market Corporation, and we've
wonderful.
received a lot of buildings that say, hey, come here with open arms. Of course, we've been a great tenant in that building for 8 years now. We had 7 more years left on our lease. We had a 15-year lease there, or a 5-year lease with 2 5-year options. So we've been a strong tenant in the community, and so there's a lot of buildings that are welcoming us, but. Of course, it's going to be a change of pace, forcing our members to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure your members love Jab's Gym. I know many of your members love it, so they're going to follow you regardless.
Shout out to Gail Perry Mason.
Right. Yes, my girl, right? Yeah. But the question is, do you think there are any businesses in the building that won't be as fortunate as you, that maybe we're teetering on the edge? I don't need you to name names. I'm just wondering if everybody is going to be able to move on.
I think out of all the businesses in the building, I think Jab's Gym is the most in trouble. And the reason, and the reason why is because, and I've talked to all the owners in the building, and Beyond Juice has multiple locations.
That's a franchise.
Those owners have multiple locations, right? Detroit versus Everybody can shift to online. Because they are majority online anyway. And I think one, as I talked to Candace Simmons, who owns Jador Detroit, I think Jador won't be able to create another space like that. But I think Jabs, it's such a unique space, just like Jador. And other thing too is we were most hurt by COVID. We just came out of COVID after so many gyms
coming out. So many
gyms just said, this is not worth it. They threw in a towel. So we were just now trying to get our membership back. We were just still dealing with slumps of people kind of working their way back to. Downtown is somewhat hollowed out. People haven't got back into their fitness routines, and everyone thought the support for the gym and Jabs was going to just come pouring back in after COVID, but no, it's been a slow trickle effect. Not to mention the slowing down of the economy. All of that has really, hindered our business. So they definitely hit us at a time. This came at a time when we were, in a very weak position.
I wonder if there's other ways to consider other business model constructs, because there's places like, you came out to the Stoudemire a few years ago, and you looked at it, and I know there's people who are looking for classes and other things. So as you're getting back on your feet, is there an opportunity for you to also consider having some instruction in the community where people are?
Pop up.
I think that is definitely an option for our trainers. We have trainers who's like, some of our trainers are 10 years younger than me, right? Who definitely have that flexibility. But I think, for me and a few of our other trainers and a few of our other purveyors and people who are attached to this business, we need legitimate infrastructure. Pop-up classes is not going to be the type of stronghold that.
No. I'm just saying supplemental. If an organization could contract with Jabs to send an instructor in for a class.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would help your business model or not. I'm just thinking that there's people who sometimes, I know that there's some businesses that are, contracting and things like that. That's in the interim, as you're building back up your space.
Yeah. So for context, we are a gym that has 2,000 to 2,500 visits per month, right? We're a 7-day-a-week business. We close 3 times a year, right? So we are a perpetual business that has visitors on a daily basis,
right?
And so, and we work from a membership model. So to and we probably will have some pop-up classes in the Eastern Market up under the shed, like we did during before it gets cold, like we did during COVID. But like I said, we need real deal infrastructure in a real deal home to.
No doubt. I wasn't suggesting that you don't need that. I was really looking at supplementing in the interim, because I know that even 1 week of downtime is huge. And so if there's ways people can help.
Can you talk a little bit about how the Jabs community is responding? Have you heard from members? Have you heard from community members? Yeah, so people have really reached out, and a lot of people have, I think, because no one's been through a building collapse. No one's been through that, right? And 2, majority of people haven't been or haven't had the experience of being in business and being in this position, right? And so with all of this, we've gotten tons of emails, messages, love and support and concern. But 2, there's a great deal of people who want to know, hey, what's the next steps and what's going to happen.
And the fundamental problem with that is that, this happened on a Saturday when everything was
Nothing
closed,
is open,
right?
yeah.
And tonight on the news at 5, and then listening to this now, people are gonna just now understand that this is happening. You know what I mean? And the implications of it. So that's why we got out in front of it, or tried to get out in front of it as fast as we can, and put out the GoFundMe efforts to
I want you to give people, we got to wrap it up. Give people ways how they can contribute, help.
Yeah,
support.
so we put a GoFundMe on there to support the Jabs Gym efforts. They can go to jabsgym.com, or they can go directly to our Instagram, our Facebook, Jabs Gym, my page, Armond Rashad, Sydney's page. Anybody who's in that Jabs Gym community, I'm pretty sure we're posted, and we love any support that we can get to and get back to saving lives and fitness. So
saving lives and fitness.
Yeah.
Wow, we love that. Well, thank you so much for coming on with us. I know it's a tumultuous time, so thank you for taking the time.
Thank you so much, Lynn. Appreciate you. Appreciate you guys so
we
much.
thank you guys so much for listening to Authentically Detroit. Until next time, we want you to catch the wave.